Mary Barra said at the end of the quarter, the earnings call, we haven't ramped up our battery production. We're way behind schedule because we can't find the staff. No one wants to work at our battery plant. I don't know why. Well, this is why. My US friends, I've got a mission to make here. I do not watch the news anywhere. In Australia, America, Canada, Europe, Thailand, China, I don't care. You know why I don't watch it? It's rubbish. And I also don't watch it because they're very unlikely to tell you this story that I'm about to share with you now. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. Phenomenal to see you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and for supporting the future of having a better planet for us, not only for you and not only for me, but also for our children and their children. Now, where I am right now, there's a road out the front here, and it is clogged with traffic just all the time. If you walk down that street, you will feel like you're being asphyxiated with fumes. It is thick with the smog of diesel and gasoline. It's absolutely horrendous. I'm about to move actually in about a week. I can't move until the week, unfortunately, for various reasons, but it's terrible. And I can tell you now that the future of not having that will be amazing. That stuff literally does cause cancer and a whole bunch of other issues. And I've got to say, General Motors, whilst they're doing some things not well, they're doing some things very, very well. So even though I do critique them, this story is not indicative of them as an overall company. There's many people working at GM who want the best thing. They want the right thing for people. I mean, after all, GM do make the Chevy Bolt and the Bolt EUV. Well, at least they will until October. The Auto Workers Union and Sanders have blasted General Motors for wages at their US battery plant. They say they're basically slave wages. The UAW and US Senator Bernie Sanders have criticized a General Motors joint venture battery plant for paying workers less than assembly plant employees, even though it benefits from US government tax credits. Now, I should point out, GM has recently fired a lot of staff. They also retrenched a lot of staff voluntarily. Staff took payment packages. That'll cost GM in the end billions, but they would think they can save a lot of money by doing that. And a lot of those workers were not just, but a lot of them were white collar workers. They weren't actually working on the production lines or in the battery factories. However, now United Auto Workers Union President Shawn Fain and US Senator Bernie Sanders on Thursday have criticized GM and their joint venture plant for paying workers much less than assembly plant employees, even though it benefits from big US government tax credits. Now, I get that GM wants to be able to sell EVs without losing money. But is this the best way to do it? I think there's probably better ways. Workers at the Warren, Ohio joint venture Ultium Cells LLC plant start at $16 per hour. That's not a lot, rising to $20 an hour after 7 years, while union workers at a nearby Ohio GM assembly plant that closed in 2019 made $32 an hour or more. I mean, $16 an hour. Can you get that working at McDonald's? Maybe you can. I don't know. I mean, this seems crazy low. I mean, guys, I've got to say this. I know I'm going to get people unsubscribed for this, but do you want to be part of a union if that's what you're getting paid? $16? I don't see how this is reasonable. Here's what Sanders said. Now, a lot of things Sanders says I think are ridiculous, to be fair. A lot of things he says make sense, like this. That is to say, the least going in absolutely the wrong direction, Sanders said in a video posted Thursday after meeting with Fain in Washington. The government is putting a lot of money into transitioning our economy to a non-fossil fuel economy. We want to see workers get a fair shake, not just the CEOs of companies. And he's right. Mary Barra makes what, $26 million a year? I mean, GM's executives, they don't seem to get paid more or less depending on actual real-world performance. There's quite a number of executives at General Motors who make between $10 to $20 million per year. Fain met with more than a dozen lawmakers during his Washington trip, as well as White House Chief of Staff Jeff Zients. He criticized the decision of Chrysler parent Stellantis to offer voluntary buyouts to 33,500 workers. Fain, who won an election as UAW president last month, said the Ultium plant at full production will receive more than $1.2 billion a year. More than $1.2 billion a year in US battery production tax credits under the Inflation Reduction Act. GM CEO Mary Barra said on an earnings call Tuesday the plant should be at full capacity at the end of the year. The thing is, Mary Barra said the reason the plant isn't at full capacity today, right? She said this, at the earnings call 3 months ago. It's not at full capacity today because they can't find staff. She said, it's so hard to find workers for the battery factory. I didn't know it would be so hard. Yeah, no freaking wonder. You're paying them $16 an hour. No wonder no one wants to work there. I can't believe this stuff. Can you believe it? Mary Barra, she's completely out of touch with reality here. I mean, everyone's saying Elon Musk is the devil of the world. They're saying he's Hitler. I've literally seen hundreds of people say this guy's Vladimir Putin reincarnated. Mary Barra thinks it's acceptable to pay workers $16 an hour and is baffled why no one wants to do it. Okay. It is absolutely not acceptable, said Sanders, a former Democratic presidential candidate and Vermont independent who chairs the Senate Health, Education, Labor and Pensions Committee. The IRA creates a $45 per kilowatt hour battery production tax credit. Here's the thing. If the people working here, I would understand if this was, say, a performance-based metric. Let's say GM said, all right, if you do the bare minimum, we'll pay you $16 an hour. If you do the bare minimum and you smile, we'll pay you $18 an hour. If you do 10% more than the bare minimum and you hit this number, we'll pay you this, right? That would make some sense. Incentivize people, right? But these are career workers, right? These aren't like casual staff here that are going to college. This is people's careers. So paying them $16 an hour as a career, can you really pay for your own living expenses? Pay your house mortgage, pay your bills, pay all your things, pay to have children? Can you afford to have children if you're making $16 an hour? Maybe, but it would have to be pretty tough. GM closed its Lordstown assembly plant in March 2019. It opened with partner LG Energy Solutions, the Ultium battery manufacturing plant, in August of 2022 in nearby Warren, Ohio. The pair are building 2 other joint venture battery plants in Michigan and Tennessee. I'm curious to know if these other plants will have the same problems getting staff because they're paying these preposterously low wages. Subaru said the same thing. Subaru's CEO in North America said they're having problems with getting staff. And I made a video about that too. They were paying the same amounts. It was legitimately people getting paid more money to work at McDonald's, where Subaru's factory is, versus people working at Subaru's factory. This is just truly bizarre. Workers at Warren voted to join the UAW, but have not yet reached a first contract agreement, whatever that means. Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown met with Fain and said on Twitter, as we develop the electric vehicles of the future, those jobs must be Ohio jobs and they must be union jobs. Personally, I'm not so sure that they're just focusing on just jobs is what matters here. It's got to be a job where you get a reasonable remuneration. GM did not immediately comment on Sanders' criticism. Ultium said in a statement last week, it is committed to the collective bargaining process and will work in good faith with the UAW to reach a competitive agreement that positions our employees and our Ohio battery cell manufacturing facility for success. You can't position yourself for a success paying your staff nothing. If you don't value them by paying them nothing, they won't value you and they won't do a good job. That's what I think. I actually think you need to remunerate people in a way that makes sure they perceive they're valued. Let me know your thoughts on this. Am I being too harsh? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching.